Chilekupu Obugu Kere Lukala. I na Torogo Mamma. The Brendan Garangamugua. Obunde Shila Rapid Television. Abia Kamano Labum Paretoka. Kamano Labum I from Basaru Melala. Madashi Chilekupu, Jibia Lejuana. Nam sure Biarangamabia Bulem, young girl Lampu Apply Lazo. Oh, Bojila in the Janabata. Oganoje lanani njiri luo nani oganala njiri da nabata we oganoje la ine ja nabata obia anma shi Chilekupu mpa biaruwa menye wo jaga we toje tata mma ai ge toje tata udo ai ge toje tata ogalihi Oge to Abia State ma. Oge to Nigeria ma. La hankenna. La nkopara. La nke monso. Amen.
Good morning, this is Eastern Circle on Rapid TV, reaching you live from our studio here in Umuahia, the capital of Abia, God's own state. It's a rainy Friday morning here in Umuahia, and I don't know what it is like where you are, but we are cold in the studio, Mikey. My name is Adeze Ebim, and as always, I've got the company of Michael.
Okay. Very good morning to you. I mean, it looks like you just jumped off some cultural basket.
Mikey, let me tell you the story behind this thing I'm wearing today. I don't know if where I stay, we are on Band Z.
Okay.
Because for some days I thought it was the industrial action.
But
nothing, we are not. We are bandless. We've not had light for some days, and you know there are mornings that you wake up and you just have to grab something and come out. So.
Actually, the instinct works, and I think I love what I'm seeing. It's fantastic. Looks like after here we'll probably just head out somewhere, sit out and have some nkwobi.
Today because I'm tying head tie, you want to take me out to go and eat nkwobi.
So you're not nkwobi like
I'm
today?
not in the mood for nkwobi today.
Okay. We'll see to that. Let's get out of the studio first. A very good morning to you once again, and welcome to Eastern Circle. Of course, it's a beautiful Friday, very beautiful, I must say, and of course, it's a Friday again, and it's a time that actually reminds you that it's time for you to take it easy, wind down, and get to have some fun, like I might be doing with Adeze this morning.
You're laughing.
You know why I'm laughing already. But anyways, so beyond the rainy morning, the Friday feeling, everything is looking a little bit of a green this morning. But before I get to take you through what we have for you this morning, let's take a look at this very interesting video. And yes, we'll be back shortly.
Oh God of all creation, that is our one request. Help us to build a nation where no man is oppressed, and so with peace and plenty.
So of course it was yesterday that we talked about this anthem thing, and then that's Anambra State Executive Council doing one of their meetings recently. They are showing off their prowess.
Why won't they know how to sing it when they are from the 70s and 60s?
Oh well,
they
exactly
should know
my
better.
point. So
It's something they're used to.
Yeah, most of them sang that while they were quite young. Before that was I think 1978 when the military government of Obasanjo took it out. But then you realize that the problem we would have with the anthem would be mostly our Gen Zs. All right. Even the Gen Zs and I think the Gen what again? Gen X. And but this a lot of generations, but these ones, first of all, then most of them are not really interested in it. Because we might ask you, I mean, do you need to sing it at the airport for you to get on board? Do you need to sing it at the embassy for you to get a passport and stuff like that? Sometimes it's like it's not really important to a lot of them.
They might think it's not
Yeah.
that important to them because of these things you've mentioned, but it can be very embarrassing that you are in a social gathering and everyone is reciting or singing the national anthem and you're not saying
Yeah,
anything, not because you don't want to, but because obviously you don't know how to say it. So,
But then
like I
that's
said
the
yesterday,
thing.
we all have to learn.
Yes, we all have to. But that's the thing, because most of these people, what they've, most of them are about to, making things happen for themselves, and they feel like there's a point you get to, a level you get to, it doesn't matter what you do really. Or even if you cannot sing your national anthem, provided you have you have the affluence and influence, that doesn't matter. You can
And
escape all of that.
that affluence and influence would it get you passed through and probably a job interview where you need they insist
The
you
national
sing the
anthem.
national
And then
anthem.
wahala go dey. So at the end of the day, it boils down to it's our national identity.
Yeah.
I mean, the lyrics makes a lot of. I mean, it's good. All right. The problem some people might have is the fact that it was composed by a British national, and the introduction of the one that we used later, the Arise Competitor, was composed by a Nigerian. And just like to encourage that national ownership and identity, so that this is our thing. So what I may have suggested would have been, if you want to change the anthem, maybe just find, we have a lot of fantastic composers here in the country, right? So we would have maybe put something together, let them compose something more interesting than the one of several years ago, over 4 decades ago,
Your opinion,
right? My
because I don't think there's nothing wrong with the one we had.
Okay. Yeah, that's the thing. So, but then if you feel that it should be a change, all right, if you feel that it should be a change, then
There should be a change, not bringing something from the old.
from the 60s, right? I think it was first song in 1960 during in the first independence. So it's very old, all right. But the lyrics cannot be old. Lyrics is good, all right. But just to promote our identity and ownership, I think we would have composed something Nigerian by a Nigerian as well, if at all we needed to change that anthem. But be that as it may, this is where we are. So, but then let's get straight to what we have for you this morning. Welcome once again. And like I mentioned earlier, everything is kind of looking green this morning because we take you first to Anambra State, and in commemoration of the World Environment Day, that was 2 days ago, we look at how Anambra is
Welcome back. This is still Eastern Circle on Rapid TV, and straight to the first story in commemoration of the 2024 World Environment Day and support of the clean, green, healthy
Okay. It's very interesting to know that right now such initiative have and then it kind of aligns with the government of the day as well in Anambra State, their mantra. Last time I heard about clean and green, I think it was Imo State some governments ago when at least they tried, all right, that period to take away trash, plastic from the roads, and make sure that they planted a lot of trees then as well, and then tried to renovate some of the government facilities, the roads, painted them green and white and all of that. So if the state, most part of it, especially the capital where I was staying back then, was looking clean and green, most part of it. So but now it's good to see that Anambra State is doing it. I mean, the government of Soludo is championing that clean and green mantra as well. But then it's special because now we're talking about planting trees. Planting trees is something that, I mean, we cannot overemphasize the importance of planting trees. First of all, it's like the relationship it has with human beings. The trees clean up the air that we breathe. So if you have a lot of trees in your area, you're sure that you're breathing in fresh air. Now, then you now imagine what happens to people who live in clustered cities. So what are advantages of being in a city, disadvantages of poor quality of air that you breathe. I mean, when you go to cities, some years ago, about 2 years ago, 3 years ago actually, when I was still in Port Harcourt, there was a media house then that they were constantly reporting air quality index on a daily, and it was really alarming. Aside the fact that there was, at some point we had this soot issue where you go out in the morning, by the time you come back in the day, just maybe touch your nose trees, you bring it out, it's very dark. You look at the surfaces of your house, your tables, for instance, your appliances, you just run your hand across them and then it's as if it's charcoal, it's very black. So that's the air that people breathe. And then you see people coming out with some health issues, some health challenges. If your immune system is not strong, you can't really survive in that place without constantly coming down with some maybe some breathing challenges, some health challenges that has to do with your lungs and all of that. So it's really bad. But if we could have a lot of trees in our environment, it enhances the air that we breathe. Very important. And then we talked about erosion as well. We can't overemphasize that. And then, Anambra, the topography of the state, most part of it has that it's kind of prone to erosion. So a lot of trees will go a long way to save the environment, save the human beings as well.
All right, yes, I agree with you. And according to United Nations, by 2030, land degradation and desertification could force 135 million people to migrate, creating social and economic inequalities. And like you said, one of the ways to tackle degradation is by tree planting. And this organization has started. And it's not just something that will have to leave for one person. Everybody, individual communities, the government will have to come together to make sure that we achieve this. We have to encourage more afforestation and discourage deforestation, the cutting down of trees and all that. Do things that we can do to help avoid erosions, keep our drainage systems clean. I get surprised and disappointed at the same time that in this age and time, as it rained this morning, you see people coming out to throw rubbish into the drainage system, and
it's like
it's something
when
else.
I see people like that, I really wish there would be some superpower I could like bring at that point in time, and made some kind of punishment on them. It doesn't look good. It doesn't. How do you even think? Because at the end of the day, you're creating more problems, more harm for the road users, for you yourself. I mean, you wake up in the morning, your drainage is blocked. Okay, when the drainage is blocked, the water that is supposed to pass through the drainage will have no way to pass and then enter inside your room at the end of the day. So we should be reasonable enough, and then we should be our brother's keeper as well. Because what you're doing might not affect you. It might go to affect someone else at another place. So it's quite a lot.
Most times people don't actually think about the consequences of these things before they do it. They just want to get rid of or do that it's on their mind at that point in time without thinking of the aftermath of that their
Yeah.
action, knowing that it's just like a cycle. It's still coming back to you, and most times the rain moves these things back to the front of your house or your shops.
Exactly.
And you have to go through the stress of
cleaning up again.
That's just
that's the, because see, we really need some kind of mind reorientation in this country, because a lot of people out there, the way they behave, you wonder what part of the earth are they coming from. I mean, these are simple things that your mind, your head should tell you that this is wrong. That is why the government keeps saying, the Ministry of Environment, they have this in every state. ASEPA, for instance, here in Abia State, they should also be at the top of their games as well. If people are dumping refuse somewhere, how fast do you remove them? Because if you don't remove them, when it rains as well, the rain can as well. So we are blaming the human beings, the citizens, and then the government also should share some part of the blame. So bring out some strict rules for people who violate these environmental laws, and then you as government agencies also do more to make sure that you on your own part, you're doing your best as well.
You know, one thing is having these policies in place and people defaulting and nothing being done.
Well, that's the problem.
There should always be a punishment. That's what leads to that cycle
there should always
be a punishment, and when people constantly get punished for defaulting,
people will learn.
That's
that
just
simple.
it.
People will learn.
All right, moving on to the next story.
I have said this quite a lot. Every state in this country have the potential to actually how do I put it now, ensure food sustainability, at least at the state level. Why do I say this? Because I'm sure there are bounties of lands lying fallow in every state. We understand the fact that some crops might not do well in some states. So fine, that one that you know that is very well, that can do very well in your state,
concentrate on that.
What are you doing? If you can concentrate on that, that means you have a lot to export to other states, and those other states would have excess also if they are doing everything. Imagine this is encouraged in all states.
And
so,
every Ministry of Agriculture is doing something.
Exactly, because we've discussed this quite a lot when we talk about we need, like how was it said then? The food that we consume, we are not even able to produce up to that, which is where too much of importation coming. So if we should encourage this is quite a lot. This is a good move, a very encouraging move, and then it's one thing as well. Another thing is to making sure that the Ministry of Agriculture makes proper use of this. In fact, that also brings us to one of the comments I saw. One interesting comment I saw regarding this particular news. Let's see if you can have that on the screen right now, because it's important that we have this, but then using it is another thing. So this particular user is talking about the fact that it's not easy to make something like this happen, but what's more important even is to ensure that it gets to the right hands. Not just getting to the right hands, that these hands make use of them for the purpose that they were meant for, so that it doesn't turn to something political. Because I think I still remember, this is not the first time I'm seeing tractors in maybe Ministry of any government ministry like that, because when I was growing up, was the first time I saw tractors for farming, and it was fascinating. But what happened that years later, we saw that those tractors, most of them weren't moved at all from the point they were brought. They weren't used ever, and they stayed there and then it got spoiled. So if the government, and I think for instance, is doing well in terms of working and stuff like that, if he could use the same energy and put his eyes, beam his searchlight into this Ministry of Agriculture, because this is important. If you can do that, you see that you will, first of all, you deal with the issue of food scarcity in the state. and by extension it will trickle into other states. And if every other state will do the same thing, we will not be fighting, we will not be dealing with food issues. And then somebody in the Ministry of Agriculture will not come and tell us that someday we will import yam from China. Yes, if we can do this, definitely we'll get to that point where definitely we are away from food scarcity, and it's a very encouraging thing. Abia State, for instance, every other southeastern state and every other state in Nigeria should imbibe this, should borrow a lead
because
from
in
this.
all the southeastern states we have in the country, I know that each state are known for a particular crop that they are good in. I know here in Abia, if you go to parts like Ngwa, we eat their eba, gari, they process, they're good with vegetables, things like plantain and all that. You go to Ebonyi, I've eaten yam from Ebonyi, it's very nice, sweet.
Very nice.
So now imagine that, good, imagine stone-free rice that they will bag for you and you will never believe it's a local rice. Now imagine that all the Ministry of Agriculture in these different states are well equipped to be able to produce food and crops in large quantities. We're not really going to be battling with food scarcity. We'll have enough to eat and export, like you said, and they will be able to give us good seedlings too for farmers who want to actually get into farming. They're not in the Ministry of Agriculture, because at Ministry of Agriculture we should be able to get those good and quality seedlings and stems and tubers from them to also help the subsistence farmers.
Making a lot of sense, because what we saw the other time, we see local government chairman donating seedlings, cassava stems and co. No problem for people who want to farm at their backyard and who have maybe one plot of land they want to farm in one area or like that. But for every state that has Ministry of Agriculture, you should farm hectares of land and then have like a place where you store this food once they are harvested, so that you have a lot that you can push into the market. That could be a way of subsidizing food in the state as well, because that's your investment. When you put a lot of money there, you push it into the market. There's a lot. What happens in return is that the prices of food will come down.
Yes.
Not just that the prices will come down, there will be a lot.
Because with these tractors that have been provided to make the work very easy, imagine working with just your hoe and comparing it with working with a tractor. It's really going to help. It will help. And talking about these tractors or equipment being in the right hands, that's why he said they have to show themselves as agriculturists, because you will not be there and just be saying you're in the Ministry of Agriculture and agriculturist and you cannot do anything. You cannot use hoe, you cannot use tractor. You have to show working now.
It's
you have to show working.
It's a ministry that needs to get their hands dirty. So we have come to that point where we need to see them roll up their sleeves and get into the bush and get under the soil and get something done for the people.
That's true.
All right, and of course, that being said, we have done well for today. There's much we can take for today's episode. But before we go, over the weekend, all right, Gavaz Logistics, a leading indigenous logistics company, celebrated a grand particular milestone occasion. So we bring you a report of that shortly, but before we take you to that video, it's a weekend, Ada, and of course after here we get back to our respective daily activities, but then it's a weekend. What's your plan? Just in case our Nkwabi arrangement did not
my plan for the weekend is to sleep, Michael. I think I just need rest. I just want to sleep and get into my house, have food to eat, have enough food to wake up and eat, then have an
Don't worry, hopefully Alex Oti will send us tractors to the Ministry of Agriculture here, and then the food part will not be a problem very soon.
For people that are ready to hit the farm, because it's raining and there's fresh corn all over the place, so if you have started farming before now, you'll start harvesting your corn. But if not, yes, people are still planting corn for the late harvest season.
Okay,
That's
Okay,
right.
very interesting. For me, myself and I plan to actually sleep one of them and then learn the national anthem, the old new national anthem. Very important.
Like you recite by Monday.
Don't worry, I will shock you. You know me now. So that's what we have for you today. Thank you so much for being a part of today's episode. It's really interesting that you joined us. But then we'll take you now to that particular epoch-making event that happened over the weekend, courtesy of Gavai's Logistics. Thank you so much for joining once again. We will take you back to Abuja now, but we'll see you on Monday definitely. Have yourself a beautiful weekend.
Gavai's Logistics, a name synonymous with excellence in e-commerce logistics, marked another milestone on the 1st of June with the opening of their new corporate head office located at number 6 Aba Road, Umuahia, Abia State. The company, founded by Mr. Ahamba Tochukwu, has grown remarkably since its inception, reflecting its commitment to driving economic growth through innovative supply chain solutions. The grand opening was attended by a host of dignitaries, industry stakeholders, and business leaders. The Deputy Governor of Abia State, representing the governor, was among the notable attendees, underscoring the significance of this event for the state and the logistics industry at large.
And as a government, the simple thing we do is not just to create jobs, it's to create that enabling environment where new businesses like yours will be able to thrive and grow. That's why we are trying as much as possible to tell investors like you, even your friends, come into Abia. Abia is the new destination to invest. And seeing someone like you who can be able to make a difference, that's what we are talking about, being able to think differently.
Gavai's Logistics began its journey in 2019-2020, focusing on the needs of campus students by leveraging technological innovation to drive e-commerce. By August 2022, the company had officially registered and expanded its services, now covering the eastern region and beyond, including key commercial hubs across Nigeria and the Federal Capital Territory. Gavai's Logistics offers a comprehensive range of services including haulage, international delivery, and specialized e-commerce dispatch services. The company's streamlined overseas shipping services connect Nigerian vendors with consumers worldwide, positioning Gavai's as a key player in the global logistics market. In addition to its extensive service offerings, Gavai's is presenting a unique investment opportunity with their 45-ton truck project. This initiative promises substantial returns for investors over a 30-month period, highlighting the company's growth and investment potential. Gavai's Logistics has established branches nationwide, including key locations in Umudike, Uturu, Aba, Port Harcourt, Enugu, Abakaliki, Lagos, and Abuja. Each branch is strategically placed to ensure efficient and effective logistics solutions across Nigeria.
Gavai's Logistics, here in Umuahia, Abia State, in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
I'm the MD and CEO of Gavai's Logistics. We are doing the official opening of our corporate head office here in Umuahia, and we decided to erect this building over here in Umuahia just to make it our corporate head office. When it comes to delivery, we want everybody and the public to note that you won't have any issues sending out your packages. I just want to let everybody know that our insurance policies covers up everybody.
I am Chidima Okbabi, reporting for Rapid TV Umuahia.